Hi there, how's it going? My name is Armand Taj, and I'll be doing an author discussion on Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, chapters 11 through 15. So let's begin. So, quick outline of what we'll be going through before I dive in and talk about the highlights of what happened through chapters 11 and 15. I'd like to first give a setting and introduction of what happened beforehand, just so you get an idea. And then afterwards, when we discuss the highlights, we'll discuss relevant themes we find throughout these chapters. So, this book is set up in Southern California, and it is in the future, and the year specifically is 2024. And our main character is a teenage girl named Lauren, who just turned 15 years old, and she documents important moments in her life by writing them in a journal. And as we go through these chapters, you'll come to realize that these documentations are almost as a form of therapy for Lauren to ease herself from all the horrific experiences she's heard and seen throughout her life, and we'll be seeing more of that in the chapters. Other things you should know is Lauren lives in a neighborhood surrounded by a giant wall, and her community is well armed, and they take turns taking watch at night to watch out from thieves and criminals, because currently in 2024, Lauren lives in a chaotic and impoverished world filled with criminals, mainly due to poor government and climate change, and that's why she's now living in this fortified wall away from all these criminals and drug addicts. And this is essentially what happens before we get into chapter 11. So chapter 11 first starts off with a few thieves, 3 thieves to be exact, jumping over the wall and entering one of the community members' houses where an old lady, Miss Cantilla, lives, and she gets killed by the thieves because she was awake when they broke into the house, and her family members awoke by the raid, and they killed 2 out of the 3 thieves. And this scene right here, this is exactly how chapter 11 begins, is a perfect representation, I want to say, of how life is currently right now inside the gated wall and the criminal activity outside of the wall. And shortly after, and from how we can see how horrible this is, a company called KSF comes to the community, and they're telling people that in the city all over, they're offering dorms, jobs, food, just a much better life in general, and pretty much all you have to do is just work for this company. Like, they scratch your back, you scratch theirs. That's essentially what they're trying to tell you. And some people want to go. Lauren's dad is skeptical about it. He believes it's a trap and just doesn't trust corporations in general. So this is one key factor that also appears in chapter 11. Others are small things like Lauren turning 18. She wants to take on responsibility soon and be an adult and be able to do the night watches like her dad does. But until then, she's still kind of a child. But she does plan on going north later on, which is part of a bigger story we will see later on. In chapter 12, the biggest thing that happens is Lauren's father goes missing one day. He just doesn't come back. And they call everywhere, they look for him everywhere, nothing happens. They go outside the wall, they go into the hills, the canyons, and when they're there, it's a very scary place. They're outside of the wall. This place is filled with criminals and pyros. It's dark. When they were looking for Lauren's father, they found a severed arm hanging from a tree, and it still seemed fresh. And out in the distance, they could hear a man begging for his life. And it didn't sound like Lauren's father, and they could not find Lauren's father, and they couldn't find the body either. Everyone believed Lauren was the only one who believed he was dead, and everyone else in the family was just hoping that maybe he was just alive somewhere if they could not find his body. Chapter 13, they have Lauren's father's funeral because they were unable to find her, and Lauren now truly believes that her father is dead after speaking at his funeral service. And it's something you should assume in this world, and Lauren is coming to realize that, how cruel this world is. Later on in chapter 13, you'll notice that moments are getting more intense. First we had this break-in by 3 thieves, just kill one old lady. Now just recently, the Payne house gets caught on fire in Lauren's community, and all but one family member dies in the fire. Only one survives, everyone else burns. And these are more intense attacks happening, and we'll see later on that they'll become more intense. Another significant thing that happens, originally Lauren was planning on going north. Now after the destruction of, the burning of the house and her father being missing, she wants to go north even more. And she gets in an argument with Curtis about all this, and they finally agreed that they will go to north together once Lauren's family can get back on her feet. So we are now in chapter 14, and the last time we heard from Lauren was on Christmas Eve 2026 when the Payne household caught on fire. Now, today in July of 2027, Lauren just recorded that her neighborhood was attacked in the dead of night by pyros, which are these drug addicts who take this drug called pyro, and it makes them crazy, similar to PCP or meth or something. And these pyros raid the village. They kill as many people as they can. They loot. They rape. They're very well armed. They broke through the gate with a truck, which is very rare these days. You don't see much trucks. Very few bikes and electric motorcycles. And so Lauren's just running. This is what we're reading in the beginning. She's just running. She has no idea where her family is. Anyone she recognizes is dead when she's escaping. And she doesn't come back and she just runs away and doesn't come back till in the morning when the pillaging is done and everyone is just looting now. And Lauren is going back to her home trying to find as many things as she can before she moves on to who knows where. And as she's looting and looking for things, she sees a green face, a pyro, that she killed last night when she escaped during the raid, when she escaped her house. And she was just staring at this pyro, this bald-faced lady, this bald-headed, green-faced lady who killed her family probably, or at least attacked her community. And out of nowhere, someone goes, "Leave her alone." And Lauren describes this, that she never wanted to kill another human being more. And I bet she was furious because this lady tells Lauren to leave this pyro alone, yet all these pyros and drug addicts didn't leave Lauren and her family alone. They literally came last night and raped and killed almost everyone in her community. So Lauren is very upset about that. So after Lauren leaves her community one last time, after she's tried to find everything she could from all the looting and all the burned houses, she was able to get some money, buy a lemon tree by her house. She leaves the community and she's on her own. She still thinks her family is alive, but she has no idea where they are. She's just completely on her own now. And soon enough, she runs into Harry and Zara, the only two people she recognizes from her community. And it's when Lauren meets up with them, she finds out that her family is completely dead. Zara said she saw it all happen while she was being held down by a criminal or a pyro or someone, and she saw Lauren's family get killed. So at this point, remember earlier when Lauren said she was going to go to Canada with her boyfriend Curtis once her family was on her feet. However, she has no idea where Curtis is, and her family is dead. So all she has now is to go to Canada, and Harry wants to go along with her. And Zara is still undecided, but one thing I wanted to point out is she does tell them mixed couples catch hell out here when Harry and Lauren decide to go to Canada together. And Zara finally decides she wants to go with them too because she has nowhere else to go as well. And before they start their journey, they go to a high-end security store filled with armed guards, but it's pretty much a safe zone there for them to get all their groceries, ammunition, jackets, and the three of them start their walk on the freeway to north towards Oregon, and the freeway is the fastest way to get there. So some relevant themes I found throughout the book that I wanted to discuss. The first one is racism, which is why I talked about that quote Zara said, mixed couples catch hell out here. It just shows that racism is still very common and has not changed like it has in the past. If anything, it seems like it's gotten worse, and I'm not surprised by this in reality. However, in this story, I'm a little surprised because after, everyone is in the same position here. They're poor, they're impoverished, life is hell, yet they still find racism and hate in other people who are in the same exact position as them, and that just baffles me a little bit. And same as slavery, the only theme of slavery you really see is about KSF and Oliver. You have this company who wants to offer you all these things, and pretty much they'll give you these things. All you have to do is be in debt to them and work for them. And that kind of is like slavery, which is why Lauren's dad was against it and didn't trust them. He just thought it was another skeptical corporation. So religion is another theme, and this theme is about the Bible and family and how they're so close to each other. Lauren's family, her community, they're a very hopeful group of people. They stay close together. They take care of each other. Even during Lauren's father's funeral, Lauren preached from the Bible. And another scene is when Harry says, "Thou shalt not steal." And Lauren is offended by this offended by the fact that Harry is trying to quote the Bible in front of her or act like her father, because Lauren loves the Bible and she's so close to it she even admits that she's never stolen in her life, which surprises Zara, and that just shows to you how close religion is to Lauren and to other people as well. And another theme we see throughout the stories are conflicts and challenges. Every decision Lauren or her family has to make is based on, an outcome of worst possibility. Lauren's sister even says, why do you always expect the worst? Because you have to. Because, you don't live in a happy world. You never hear Lauren really documenting anything about how, today was a totally normal day and we had a great time with our family. Everything she's talking about is like, what's the next plan? What do we have to do next to ensure we are alive? And so there's a lot of conflict and challenges at every turn they make throughout the story. And this is why trust, I feel like, is also a theme. It's a pretty subtle theme because it obviously doesn't say it, but it shows through their actions that every decision they make is based off the fact that they trust this person. Lauren, when she was by herself, she couldn't ask anyone for a phone or even talk to them because she didn't trust them, not even the cops. But when she saw Harry and Zara, two people she recognized, she could trust them. So here are my references, and I just want to say thank you for watching my discussion, and I hope that you enjoyed it.